Want to call to order the September 7th meeting of the Ascension Drainage. Roll call, Madam Secretary, Councilman Valentine's at his area meeting for the master plan. He couldn't make it tonight. Councilman Chris Lohr and Councilman Dempsey Lambert will not be here. All others are present. Would everyone please stand for the invocation by Commissioner Todd Lambert and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here tonight to make some decisions on our major issues in our parish with our drainage. And we also thank you for allowing these storms to miss us so far. We thank you for that. We ask this in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Todd. Just want to announce on public comment period, anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please sign in with the secretary and you'll be given time later to speak when that item comes up. The chair would now recognize a motion for acceptance of the minutes of the August 2nd meeting. Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. On my chairman's report, the main thing I want to speak of was the capital projects and the progress with the Corps of Engineers permitting, and we have all that when Mr. Rue will, when you got that on the capital project, so we'll leave that in there and it'll integrate in with them. Mr. Rue, drainage report.
Yes, sir. We handed out a copy of my report. We also handed out the work orders that's been in progress or planned for each one of your council districts. And if you have any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer it. Or you can call tomorrow if you have questions about it. I'm going to my report. I'm going to skip some of the routine stuff and go straight to what I guess most is interested in. One of which is the, now I think you had it at the last meeting, which I know you had at the last meeting, was application for roughly $6 million worth of grants. I want to emphasize that a little bit more. If, in fact, we get this grant in December or January of this year, next year, the primary spending of the money is going to be on Panama Canal, Ball Bayou, Grand Goudin, Muddy Creek, and the Cobalt. Probably the biggest, or the two biggest channels that's going to be improved with this money is the Panama Canal, which hasn't been cleaned or improved since it was built, I think, and the Grand Goudin. Both of those large bayous. We're in the process right now of surveying each one of them, getting a design on it in preparation for these projects. And again, I emphasize major capacity improvements to the Panama Canal and the Grand Goudin. And again, we're waiting on this for the first of the year. And it's something that we were going to go in and do some work on the Panama, just cleaning. We're going to wait and see how this money comes in, so we're going to do it once and for all with major improvements. The other thing is the status report on our major capital improvement projects. And again, we have the engineers here that they can go into detail on each one of these. I'm just going to hit the high points. On the existing Law Ridge levee upgrade, we've been in talks with the Corps of Engineers, CDM, and Drainage Department. And originally we put in a permit to upgrade this to higher elevation. We amended that, bring it down to more of a maintenance project. And it still looks like we can go forward with this project without a permit. But that's still in negotiations with the Corps of Engineers, and CDM is on top of this. We should know something within the next few weeks how this is going to go. In any case, though, we were holding back on that project until we do the Marvin Bro pumping station expansion. And the reason for that is it looks like we're going to have a good bit of fill dirt, clay, from that expansion. We have to excavate and haul off And so what we plan on doing is hauling that fill material to the Law Ridge levee and utilizing it on the upgrade of the levee. So that way, the only thing that cost us is the hauling fee and not for the dirt itself. This should take care of roughly 50% of the project. So in any case, no matter what how it turns out for us, the permits, we're still holding that project until we start the upgrade of the Marvin Borough pump station so we can get the dirt and utilize it on the project, save us some money. Henderson Bayou floodgate pump station. Permit application and permit drawings are completed, delivered to the Corps. Final design is completed. We just completed the comment period, and there are quite a few of significant comments coming from both residents in that area and also other public agencies, both state and federal. We're planning on a meeting with some public agencies and do a site visit within the next week, probably middle of next week sometime. We're trying to set the date so everybody is available. But it looks like middle of next week, we are going to meet with the state agencies that has a comment or a concern about the project and actually go to the site and try to answer their concerns. We also, and later on in this meeting, one of the major concerns is a factual information as for the effects of the floodgate to the surrounding area, and especially the downriver of the pumping station in the Amite River Basin. And I will be asking later on in this meeting for a contract with an expert on the hydrologic model and design of that basin to do an evaluation of that question of what is the effects of the flood station. And this is one of the vital bits of information that is necessary to get our permit. This is something that everybody is asking. So, going with this person, we'll be able to get it within 30 days, where it takes several months from any other place. So again, we'll be getting in that later on. So we're getting to the final stages of the Henderson Bayou project for us going to bid. Everything is ready to go to bid. We're just waiting on the permit, and we're on the final stages of the permit process. Marvin Borough Pumping Station, it's in a similar situation where everything's been applied for, permit's been applied for, and they're going through some incidentals on the permit process plans. Burt Klein Peter had to make some changes on that plans that they submitted to the Corps. The Corps is looking at these changes now, and they should be entering the comment period pretty shortly. And the comment period is a 20-day period to get comments from other state agencies. At that point in time, we'll go through the same process we're going through right now with Henderson Bayou. Meet with the state agencies, answering their concerns, and getting to the final stage of the permit process. And again, I got Representative Burt Klein Peter here and CDM. If you want to go into any more detail about these projects and the status of them, they'll be glad to answer any questions.
Does anybody need an explanation on the permitting questions from the engineering company?
And I have to say that, again, Henry Picard, Burt Klein Peter, and Robert Heath with CDM has been on top of this with the Corps. I've been in conversation almost daily now with the representative with the Corps of Engineers regulatory branch. They're trying to expedite the permits on both these projects as much as possible. They are handcuffed to a certain extent. They have to follow the process, and it takes a little bit of time. But they are being very, I guess, agreeable with us that we need to get this thing moving pretty fast.
And I think, Bill, that basically on any of these permits for these large projects that we can expect, and when we go to public comment period, that we can almost guarantee that we're going to get some comment out of a public agency.
We always do, and again, it's a time issue.
Let everybody know this is not out of the normal.
And to let you know that the comment period is set by time. It's a 20-day comment period, and then you have a 30 days to respond once we receive the comments, to respond back to the comments. So it's limited in our, in the time for us to get the comments back, and that's why we want to get this as quick as possible.
Okay. Mr. Chairman? Yes, Mr. Lambert.
Yeah, Bill, on the hydraulic study, I guess I got a question. Is that something that's asked for by the Corps for us to do? Because I know we're adding pumps at Marvin Bro, and I know we never did a hydraulic study on the tail end of it, right?
Marvin Bro is the existing project, existing facility. This is a brand-new facility. It's been told to me by the Corps of Engineers that this is one of the major comments that's been coming in to them and will be in their letter to us to answer. So he just gives me a heads up on it. And again, since we only have 30 days to respond, we want to get a start on it now so we meet the time limit.
Okay. Because the big issue with what we're building over there is a flood gate, not so much a pumping. I know it's going to have some pumps there, but it's more or less for the high waters coming out the emit, flooding into the basin, so
And
it's acting as a little bit different situation than what we got at Marvin Bro, where it's actually, Marvin Bro is actually a pumping station, where Bayou Henderson is actually going to be a flood gate to control the high level coming from the Amite River. So I just was wondering if that was a...
Yes, sir. And again, the reason for the evaluation there is they'll be eliminating a storage area, and they want to know the effects of taking that storage area out of the basin in case of a flood. And we know there's not going to be a significant difference, but we have to prove it in technical terms.
Okay. Hey, when you have that meeting next week, give me a day or two notice so I can...
Okay.
I'd like to make...
I'll put it out to all the parish president and the
Okay.
council members of the date if anybody want to attend.
Okay. Thank you.
And your last one, the PLD sponsored project.
Yeah, and again, that's something that's ongoing. We still, one of the major things is the extension of the levee, and again, it's an ongoing evaluation by GSA. The other thing is the Spanish Lake issue with the Puncturing Levee District and the Shaw Group, and we still don't know where we're at on that. We can't get a straight answer, really, for when it's going to be completed.
What about the Panama Canal? That's integrated with what you were talking about earlier, the Panama Canal Bayou Conway.
That's another GSA, Puncturing Levee District project. I don't think anybody from GSA is here. And Henry, you know anything about that? I know y'all were helping some on it.
We just want to try to get an update, and even if it's not a great one tonight, but get one out to where we have Mr. Shake Snyder and Mr. Thompson is, really very interested in this. And,
we've completed all the modeling and the mapping of the inundation areas. We've done that for both the existing and what we call an improved conditions model. We've come up with some projects that will help mitigate some of the upstream flooding, and we've come up with some rough cubic yards of dirt. Most of the projects we're looking at short-term and long-term, and the short-term projects are mainly dredging of the Panama Canal, the lower Bayou Conway to help get the flow out of the area.
yeah, and the main thing I'm thinking about is that the grant money versus what we're going to do in that area, and how does that work in conjunction with what's already being modeled for the area, or if it is integrated with it, does it relieve us of some of the burdens of what we'd have to do on a major project?
Yes and no. We're going through this with the understanding, or at least the design, that we're going to improve it to a 10-year flood event design, or as close to it as possible. And I'm pretty sure that the results of what GSA and Burt Clyde are doing is going to note that a 10-year design is a big improvement off of what it is right now, based on the development in the area. And I think it will match. It'll give us reinforcement to what we plan on doing anyway.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking at you and the administration, and is these millions that we're going to peel off part of this $6 million, a good chunk, for Panama, and can that money be thrown into the bigger project? Help us out. I mean, I don't know what where we stand on it. So
We may.
we're not just doing something twice in the same.
No, but
area.
what we may do, and what we're hoping to do, and once we get the report in from GSA, is that we may get additional funding to go along with our funding for improvement to the Panama and the Conway. Hopefully, we can use the biggest portion of their money to do improve the Conway, since we already have the Panama included in another grant process.
Okay.
So that's why we left the Conway out in this list for the grant money, so we can possibly get both of them done with additional money from Punch Drain Levy District.
Good deal. Any questions? Any more questions on any capital projects? Yes, sir, Mr. Lambert.
Yeah, Bill, one thing I've been noticing, vegetation in the canals is pretty heavy at some of the bridges. Are we planning on doing anything like we have in the past with
Breaking it up.
some of the sprays?
But it's being
chemicals?
done right now.
Okay.
Alan already has been on top of this with the Wildlife and Fisheries and the Department of Agriculture
Okay.
and
What do we
spraying.
have? We got a new
They-
vegetation? I didn't recognize this.
Yeah,
when
it's
they
just a
came up.
grassy type vegetation. It's really clogging up most of the channels in South Louisiana. The State Department of Agriculture has put together a program to assist in the spraying. And they have already completed most of the spraying of what rivers they've done so
They
far?
completed Bayou today, Bayou Francois last week, and they're gonna do Babin Canal tomorrow.
That's right.
Good.
So Alan's
Good.
been on top of this, following it. He
Appreciate
contacted
that.
the
It's
people.
really, yeah, it's really noticeable in New River also, you know, it's just, you
Yeah.
see it. I've never seen this type of vegetation.
Yeah, and again, it's all over South Louisiana.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
I'd like to see if we could possibly get someone from Shaw to come to our next meeting and kind of explain to us what's going on at by Man Shack and Alligator Bayou. I mean, we've been waiting on this. I think last year we were supposed to get the report in. We're a year later almost. It was supposed to be done this summer, I think, by the end of the summer. We still don't have any answers. I know they're dealing with the Corps also. But I'd like Les Wagensback or whoever is in charge to
I'll tell you
please.
what I'll do, I'll make a request to the Punch Drain Levy District, and that's who they're contracted by, and have them get Les or whoever. to,
We had
come
talked
up and
about the possibility of improving that small locks on our own, but, you know, that's been a year ago. Now, we still hadn't heard anything on this report, and if they could maybe give us some sort of update or give us a reason why this thing is being delayed, I'd just like to hear it, because, I mean, we maybe go through 4 years here, and we're not going to hear anything about it. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Within that study, that's going to be a joint venture that at some point we're going to have to get together with Iberville and East Baton Rouge Parish on that. So
I understand that,
Mr.
but
Chairman,
it's...
I want to offer a resolution from
ahead.
the whole Drainage Board to PLD to get someone from Shaw here at our next meeting to give us a report.
we've got a resolution on the floor to ask a representative from the Pontchartrain Levy District or their representative Shaw to come and give an update on the Spanish Lake Bayou Manchac study.
I'll say.
By Mr. Shakespeare, a second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any more discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Madam Secretary, can you get with Mr. Rue and us, and we'll draw up that
We'll draft the resolution.
resolution to move forward to the Pontchartrain Levy District.
Come on.
Good
One-
deal, Mr. President. Anything else?
Okay. I just want to let everybody know about a situation that is coming up, but we can't do anything about it now. As you know, we did repair work on pump number 2,
Yeah.
cooling coils. It was in bad shape, and since that was in bad shape, we know all the rest of them are too. What we plan on doing once, but we can't do it until we get the extra pump online at the pumping station. Now, give us, if we can, after we get the extra pump online, it'll give us 6 pumps. At that point in time, we're going to have a project put together where we actually coffer dam each one pump at a time, go in there, revise or I guess,
The screens?
redo the screens or revamp the screens some way. We don't know exactly what we're going to do on the screens. But at the same time, we're going to go through for a complete inspection of the foundation of each pump, and also remove the cooling coils, clean them, and retrofit the cooling coils. They are in bad situation. We know that, but we're not able to do it right now because of the fact we need a coffer dam do it all at one time. So after the project complete, if we can last that long, we're doing maintenance on it every month now. We will be cofferdaming one at a time, doing a permanent, a more final inspection and upgrade of each pump.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we go through this project, Ms. Picard may could answer that too, but basically what we looked at on this additional pump, we looked at the form suction intake based on the newer designs, the better designs on the intake, and looked at the screens as a newer design and a better design for the screens. And within this project, when we do it, correct me, Mr. Picard, if I'm wrong, but we're going to own our goal was to own the cofferdam.
The sheet piles for the
Right, the
cofferdam.
cofferdam, the basic materials for the cofferdam to be put back together to do a second one. So you'll need to put together a budget for that based on the type of screens that we are going, because I'll let everybody know that's a costly endeavor. It's not cheap. All right, so.
We are preparing that along with the Spanish Lake and the Ascension of Law Ridge Levee as alternates to our capital improvement program based on money savings from the projects that's already in the process right now.
Sounds good.
And that's all of my reports.
But as of now, we do not have a cooler that's out.
Everything's functional
That's what I want
at
to
the
hear.
pumping station.
The screens are not in good shape, but you
They're functional.
scrape them and drag them. Any other questions on capital projects? Mr. Rue, anything else on your total drainage report? Anything you want to?
That's all I have, sir.
All right. We'll move on to item number 7, acceptance of substantial completion, SRS Contracts Incorporated, NRCS debris removal project. Mr. Rue.
We're requesting authorization to recommend to the parish council, and I'm saying this in this way because you're actually making a recommendation. The parish council has, and the parish government has a contract with SRS, but since we're paying for it, we thought it's right to bring it to you first to make
Yes.
a recommendation. An authorization to recommend to the parish council acceptance of the project with debris removal from area channels as per the contract between SRS Incorporated and the Parish of Ascension, and NRCS and Parish of Ascension as substantially complete as of August 18th, 2010.
So moved.
I second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? I just want to bring up real quick that as we move on, before we close this out, and we move on to item number 8, we got some issues with liquidated damages within that same contract. And so within this item, we've got the math that's sitting there with the next one, so we'll take a look at that. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passed. Let's go to item number 8, authorization to assess liquidated damages and other expenses due to contractual obligations, SRS Contractors Incorporated, NRCS debris removal project. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. As most of you know, this project did go over the dedicated time for completion, and it went over by 52 days. And that's also allowing for an extension of time that added more days to that. But officially 52 days, $200 a day. Is liquidated damages come to $10,400. In addition to that, we have direct costs to the parish of $30,509.60 due to mandated resident inspection that was mandated by NRCS, and also other duties of the engineer consulting firm that had to stay on top of it and issue reports and stuff.
And that's due to the longevity
Longevity,
of the
that's
completion,
directly tied
not
to-
necessarily a change in the contract.
That's
That's due to the
directly
overrun.
tied to the 52 days of
Overrun.
extended time.
I second.
We have a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Move on to item number 9, change order number 1, E&E Industrial Services, Marvinboro Pump Station's coil repair. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. We ask for approval of change order number 1, E&E Industrial Services contract for project, I won't go into it, removal and repair replacement of pump number 2 cooling coils. And again, we didn't know exactly what that cost would be until after they removed it and cleaned it and pressure tested it. We think it's a reasonable cost.
We have a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Bell. Any discussion? I do, Mr. Rue. Our metal components, the way the coil's built, we've improved, or?
Well, the coils are mostly made out of stainless steel. That wasn't a problem. But they had some carbon steel connections that caused the problem. The other problem too, and part of the reason we have to do extensive repair, is how the coils are connected or, set in place as part of the structure. There's
physical
carbon
location.
steel. There's
Yes.
carbon steel anchor bolts that broke off. So when we went back with it, we noticed that this is all gone now and it's broken since we took it out. We know all the rest of the coils are the same way. So the problem is not the coils themselves, but how they attach to the unit. And that is some of the modifications got to be made at a later date.
Discussion, Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Root, they didn't have any Monel or some other type anchor bolts that we could have used instead of going back with carbon steel?
Well, the fact is, these are carbon steel, the divers, this is in the foundation. And it never should have been, carbon steel never should have been used underwater. Now, they may have been, I say carbon steel, they may have been galvanized or something, but they weren't stainless or Monel. And right now, we have it temporarily held in place with come-alongs. Now, it's functional, it's not going to go anywhere, it's going to be okay, we have to run it. But these are some things that was done during the construction of the pumping station back in the 90s. And these are some things, once we drain it down, we have to change out each one of them and put more suspension material down there.
The things we will improve when we go
Right.
in one by one for the cofferdam to improve the rakes and the coils.
The coils themselves are built good out of stainless steel. There's no problem with them. But pressure test, they had a couple of little, warm places, but that wasn't bad. It's
So
how
you
they're
tell me
attached
we don't
to
have
the
any
unit.
Monel anchor bolts?
No.
Nothing that we can determine. It's more carbon steel or galvanized.
Back in the day, they were either galvanized or cadmium plated.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's what went in. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Move on to agenda item number 10, intergovernmental agreement, Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office and East Ascension Drainage District Number 1, erosion control retaining wall at shooting range for the Sheriff's Office, Ascension Sheriff's Office. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We are asking to authorize the intergovernmental agreement between EA Drainage and Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office for the construction of bulkhead on the drainage ditch at the Sheriff's Office shooting range. Usually, we put riprap. They wanted something a little bit more aesthetically pleasant and, more substantial.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Bell. Any discussion?
And just to make sure everybody knows that we are just providing the material out of inventory. They're contracting and paying for all other costs.
Yes. Good clarification. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Go on to agenda item number 11, authorization to contract with GEC Engineers for the evaluation of the effects downstream of the proposed Henderson Bayou floodgate during the major rain events. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir.
What we
This going
talked
back
about
to what we
earlier.
talked about a little bit before. This is timely, constrained,
I
and
move.
we need to act on it so we can get this
We have
to
a
answer our
motion by
comments.
Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Bell. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Lambert.
What is the cost, Bill?
Not to exceed $23,500.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes.
Quick enough.
Agenda item number 12, executive session, EAD, ETAL versus grant finance, ETAL litigation and strategy session.
That's second.
We have a motion to go into executive session by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. We will adjourn to executive session. Let's go. Come on. Come on, let's bite on this for a while.
Motion reconvene.
Second.
We have a motion to reconvene by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion, any opposition? This meeting is reconvened. Right now, the chair would entertain a motion based on the executive session.
I make the motion to authorize legal
To retain counsel
retain
based on
counsel, that's correct.
litigation.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Lambert. Discussion, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir. In that motion, we need to have in there something about not to exceed the Attorney General's
rates.
limits.
Yes. Mr. Bell, you wish to amend your motion, right?
Well, to include not to exceed the rate set by the Attorney General.
Madam Secretary, Madam Legal, y'all got that? Retain, not to exceed the Attorney General rates. Any other discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll go to agenda item number 13.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Thompson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes.